everybody, this is Lisa from Uneek Sheep. I have finished objects today. So my first finished object today is this little guy. Take a look at that. This is an earbud pouch. This is one of the gifting projects I'm throwing out there. Now, a lot of the times people do the small stuff closer on, but I'm all about stress-free gifting. So you can crank out any number of these between now and the holidays. This one's kind of fun because it just cuddles the earbuds. Look at that. It keeps them clean and neatly coiled up. So you don't end up with, the tangle of cords in the bottom of your bag like I do. Let me see. Did I do any mods? Yeah, the only modification I did to this was putting on these cute little duplicate stitch embroidery pieces. I'm a Harry Potter fan, so of course my first one I did a little Harry Potter-esque and I monogrammed it. And this is a Harry Potter font. Yeah, I geek that hard. Let me think, did I do anything else? No, this one I just followed the pattern exactly as written. And the nice thing about this is if you have little bits and bobs of sock yarn laying around or any fingering weight yarn, even sport weight, it'll come out it'll come out a teeny tiny bit bigger in sport, but it will still be a nice size to hold your earbuds. It was a quick, easy knit. I wanted to do this, I wanted to cast it on, I think, Sunday night. And it went so quickly, I finished it that evening. Now, I wouldn't say it was like 30 minutes or anything like that. No, it took the entire evening by the time I wove in the ends and did the duplicate stitch. But this is literally a one evening project. So that got me thinking. I've been telling you guys I wanted to work on getting my crochet back up to speed. So I've decided to take on some small crochet projects too, just to work out the kinks and get my crochet muscles back together. So I found, actually I didn't even find this pattern. I saw one that would look like this. Well, not completely like this, but this shape that was knitted. And I was like, oh, I like that shape. This would be a great little earbud pouch for a crocheter. And this one is crocheted. And I did the embroidery on it in cross stitch. Now, for you cross stitchers out there, don't judge me. This was my absolute first time doing cross stitch, and I thought it was really fun. And the single crochet stitches make a kind of natural grid. Now, this is not particularly hard to do at all. And this one is kind of a fold over style pouch. So I basically crocheted a rectangle. And there are the little earbuds. But I think this would be easier to find in the bottom of your bag or in a pocket than just loose earbuds with the wires all tangled up around themselves. So here's one for my crocheters out there. I love the little crown. And here's one for my knitters. And if you notice, the yarn I did the embroidery on the knitted one I used that as the main yarn. So this took about 5 grams of yarn. Actually, I weighed it. It took exactly 5 grams of yarn. And I'm going to have to weigh the crocheted one. I would suspect it's also in the neighborhood of 5 to 6 grams of yarn. So you don't really need much. This was also another one evening project, including the embroidery. Now, because I was kind of making it up, I did add, I thought, okay, let me try doing 36 rows of single crochet. That really wasn't quite long enough to give me the kind of fold I wanted. You see, I have it folded over like 2/3. So I actually unpicked the top and just added 5 more rows. And at 41 rows, it was perfect. And that way I didn't have to redo my embroidery. So that was neat. I will write that up, but it's hardly even a thing. Now I got the charts for the embroidery. This one, when I looked at it, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of a hexie puff. So I counted the stitches, and then I looked up some hexie puff charts and counted the stitches, and any old hexie puff chart will fit on this. I didn't actually end up using a hexie puff chart though, because I didn't like the ones they had for the Harry Potter theme. So I started looking around Pinterest and Ravelry for Harry Potter themed charts, and I really liked this one, but it was actually too big for the um the piece I was doing. So I redrew the chart just a little bit smaller, just kind of squinched it down a little bit. And I did the same for the chart for this. I looked for cross stitch charts specifically, but most charts will work. And I did modify this chart a little bit by accident. I missed across, I don't know, maybe the proportion is different. And I should have had a space to make this flat across the top, but I don't mind it pointy. I don't mind it pointy at all. So you can find a chart, you can draw your own chart, and just add any kind of decoration you want to this. Now I only did decoration on one side of this one because when I did it originally, this piece was actually too small for me to really be bothered with. Maybe I could have done maybe a row of stars across here or something. But both sides are available for you to decorate and personalize and customize to the person you want to give it to. And I think that's kind of part of the fun in it because it can be anything that you care to put on there. Okay, so those are my two little finished objects. Now, I couldn't possibly just leave well enough alone and continue working on what I was working on. I really haven't done a pair of socks to myself in ages, so I wanted to cast on a pair of socks. So this is as far as I've gotten. This pattern is the Geek Socks. Ooh, tried to drop that. By Wei S. Leung. And it is so fun. Now, if you enjoy watching the colors change on self-striping socks anyway, this is a pattern for you because it takes that fun and just amps it up a bit. I'm using the Uneek Socks, Urth Yarn's Uneek Socks sock kit. So what happens is you get 2 matched balls of yarn in a box. Really cute box. I should have kept the box. I threw the box away yesterday, trying to get some of the clutter down. You see, I've already started using this one, so it's actually significantly smaller than that one. Now, depending on how careful you are to unwind the same amount of yarn, but you don't really have to do anything really. Just make sure you start at the same spot and the color changes, and your socks will come out perfectly matched. Now, what I did was I took just a little self-striping sock yarn, and use the patterning, the slip stitch patterning in the pattern just to give it a little zhuzh. And just that little bit of slip stitching just creates so much liveliness in those stripes that I'm really enjoying it. The nice thing about the Urth yarns is how the colors fade. Now notice how the top stripe, it gets darker, then it starts to lighten and change. About here, about the fourth stripe, you can already see a little bit of the color that's going to be more predominant in the fifth stripe. And now that orange that started way up here, started growing there, it's already changed to orange. But the background color is also changing. So you have the two colors changing as you knit the stripe. And I'm remixing it a little bit with my slip stitches. So I'm getting that slightly chevron-y pattern. It's easy knitting. It is a 3-row repeat. And once I got past, I would say, the 3rd row, I had it already memorized, and it is just easy knitting that gives you a lot of bang for the buck. Between the beautiful changing that's going on in the yarn and the slip stitches in the pattern kind of zhuzhing up those stripes, I'm so pleased with how this sock is coming out. So let me show you the inside. So I'm doing slip stitches, so I am creating some floats. Now you would think, oh well, slip stitches, won't that make your sock not stretch so much? That's possible. But what you do to combat that is to remember to keep those floats loose. This sock is stretching without any problems. But I want to show you how loose those floats are. You see that? So when I pull on the sock and stretch it, there's enough yarn there to stretch with the rest of the sock. So how do you get that done? This has been stuffed in its bag, so I have to straighten it out a bit. Basically, as I'm going along, what I'm doing, get that going. Yeah, that's my knitting mutter. You know, when you just taught your knitting, like, okay, there you go. Got that. What I'm doing is, let's see, where am I? Okay. Oh, great, I left it right where I need to make a float. I'm doing my slip stitches, yay. Spread that out a little bit. So you work that little bit of extra yarn in. Spread it. And that's one way you can make sure that your float is loose enough. Another thing you can do is if you do see that, oh look, that looks a little tight, before you move on to the next stitch, pull a little bit more yarn into it. And I am working these. I am a double pointed needle kind of girl. I love my double points. And I love the Addy flexi flips because it's really just like working on double points, only you don't have as many needles to manage. They also have them in bamboo. So if you have a slick kind of yarn, those bamboo ones will do the trick. But so far, I found that the Urth yarns Uneek sock, it's been slippery enough to move easily along the needles, but it's not excessively slippery at all. And the fabric it makes has a really just luxurious feel to it. So I did the cuff on US 0 needles, and I'm working the rest of the sock on US 1s. That's my preferred needle size to work socks on. I wear my socks, and I found that when I did them on bigger needles, I couldn't wear them with like dress shoes. So I actually downsized my sock knitting to 1s and 0s, and that resolved that problem. I was able to wear them with any shoe I wanted. And I love this color combination. It's kind of screams fall to me. And I feel like it's perfect for this season as we're passing from the bright blue of summer into the deeper colors of fall. And I can't wait to see what color comes up next. I didn't really look at the sock. If you get the Uneek sock box, there is a picture of the striping progression on that particular sock that you got, but I kind of wanted to let it be a bit of a mystery. So I looked at the ball, and you can kind of see where the colors are going to go, but you can't really see exactly how they're going to play together in the sock while you're knitting. You know, the way you'll see it as you knit it. I got to finish my row. You know how it is. Okay. So, let's put that down. There's no way for me to know, looking at this, that this is what I'm going to get. So that picture on the side of the box is really quite helpful because you can actually see the flow of the colors. But I kind of like the surprise of it because I can't tell from the ball what's going to end up as my background and what's going to end up as my foreground color. So that's a lot of fun. I'm loving it. The sock is the Geek Sock. It's by Wei S. Leung Designs. It is available on Ravelry, and it's a free pattern, and it's a pattern from Knitting Magazine. I can't remember what season, but it'll be down in my description bar. It was from 2015. So it's an older pattern, and it's an oldie but a goodie. I am loving that. My sock bag, I like buying the style of bag from thrift stores to hold smaller projects in. So this is actually the tag on it says Primrose Hill, London, but I got it at a local thrift store. Love it. I love how the mouth opens up really wide. So if you're looking for project bags, you know, on the thrifty side, hit your local thrift store up. You might find just the perfect thing. You see, it's got a nice wide mouth. If I'm really feeling jiggy, I will close it and let the yarn kind of slide out. It flows nicely, no problem whatsoever. I brought Helen to the store with me this week so that I can get in some stitches on it. This is actually a really simple 2-row repeat. And when I actually work on it, it goes pretty quickly. I think I just dropped my yarn over. Yeah, I did. So it goes pretty quickly, and I enjoy doing it. But I find that, well, what happened was at one point I put it away somewhere and I couldn't find it. But as promised, I did get it to be a skosh longer, and I can see the end coming in sight, because how the pattern works is that you take a 100-gram ball of yarn. This happens to be Three Bunnies design. Bunny's got her blue jeans on. I absolutely love it. And look at how just that simple stitch pattern makes that variegation just sing. It looks like I'm doing all kinds of interesting things, but that's the yarn doing the work for me. And I think this is just awesome for not doing much. If you can yarn over, you can do this pattern. And now that I'm thinking about patterns for gifts, this would be an awesome holiday present, because it's one of the ones where, I think sometimes variegated yarns are a little bit hard for people to choose something to work on it with, because, sometimes they obscure patterning. Cables won't really show up as well. So something like this kind of mesh, it just makes the variegation sing. Oh, and I lost my train of thought. So I was saying how the pattern works is this. You take 100 grams of whatever yarn you have. Mine happens to be a variegate, but it would work beautifully in a solid too. And you knit until you think you just have enough for the bind off. And then you just bind off and you're done. So in theory, you should have exactly 2 ends to weave in. The end where you started and the last little bit of the end where you finished. And that's that. That's the easiest finishing I think you're ever going to have. And when the scarf gets long, I just wrap it around my neck and knit with it right here, because that's the most convenient thing. And it wants to wrap around the neck anyway. It's a scarf. So I think I'm going to add this to my gift knitting portfolio, because it's really easy, but it looks very spectacular. So I think anybody would be happy with it. And it's knit on an angle. So you're going to naturally develop this angled point. And as you work it, you're going to be developing the other point. I don't think you can get any more convenient than that. And both sides are attractive. Look at that. If I get this layout for you. So here's the A side. And this is unblocked. I don't know if I'm going to block this out, because I kind of like the mesh sort of closed, but it looks pretty cool open too. So I might play with it a little bit. I think I will pin it out and take a picture with it kind of stretched out. And you guys can tell me if you like it stretched out, or if you like the kind of, I like the way the lines move with the colors kind of splashed over them. So we'll see. We'll see if I block this out, because it's right now, I would say it is about 6 inches wide. But this mesh, let me put my needle caps on. Are you like me? Do you lose one of your needle caps from every set you buy? So I almost never have 2 that match on a project. Get that over from around my neck. So right now, I would say this is about 6 inches wide at its normal width point. And take a look at that. You see how it's just a beautiful mesh? Now, watch what happens when I stretch it. You could make this, I would say, nearly double in width just by blocking it out. So it's really going to depend on your preference for how wide you'd want it to be. And it's going to stretch more in the width than in the length. It will stretch somewhat in the length too, but the real stretch is built in in the horizontal direction. See, to me, this looks strained. I don't think I would block it out this wide, but this wide, yeah, I could do that. So let me know what you think. Do you like it closed up, basically? This is it closed. That's the back. Back's just as attractive. And you can open it out to any degree that you like. So this is just a little bit open. I would call this medium. And then all the way. You see, it looks like, to me, it's almost 12 inches wide. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. So I'll be thinking about how I want to block this, because I'm coming into the home stretch. I'm about halfway through this ball of yarn. And when I get down to the last maybe 2 grams, I'll think about starting to bind it off. Since we're talking about gift knitting, I'm going to take a good picture of this so that, you know, the title won't be backwards. But I have 2 copies of 50 Knitted Gifts for Year-Round Giving. Now, it ranges from garments to accessories to household goods. Here's a little sneak peek from the back of the book. Let me see if I can angle that nicely. This is another thing. I'll put a picture in because right now I'm getting a lot of glare. And I think there's quite literally something in a style for every person. So if you like cables, there are cable patterns. If you like Fair Isle, there's Fair Isle to be had. Felted projects. And what I liked about this book was that it has, you know, real lovely things that will look really great knitted. And there's a couple of really funny things if you just want to kind of give somebody a gag gift. There's a couple of items that are not really even knitted, like these little yarn snowmen that I think would also be a very fun gift for someone who likes to decorate for the seasons. So there's quite literally something for everybody in here. My favorite item, and I think I would actually make one of these. This is really fun. Look at this mosaic scarf. Isn't that amazing? Now I can see working this in any number of colors, and it would lend itself to stash diving. Yeah. 2, 4. It's 4 skeins, 4 different colors. And I think you could make all kinds of wonderful color combinations to do this in. And I think this is a scarf that a guy would actually enjoy wearing. Frankly, I think for me, it's a unisex. I would wear this too. But I think this is the type of scarf that a guy would enjoy wearing. And even if you are knitting for one of those type of dudes that just likes to wear gray and brown and black and maybe green if he's feeling, you know, fancy, because you're going to be mixing the colors so much, even if you're mixing several neutral colors, it's going to look great. And I think it would be very elegant looking. It would be a very good scarf. There's even like super cute kid stuff in here. Look at that. That is adorable. So I'm going to give away 2 copies of this book to 2 lucky winners. What I would like you to do is please share the video and like the video. And one more thing, make a comment on the video, letting me know you've shared and liked. Thank you so much, and good luck to the winner. I will be choosing the winner by the next podcast. I will announce who the winner is of both of the copies of this book. Well, each winner of 1 copy of this particular book. Thanks, guys. I thought I'd share some shop news. This week is going to be Local Yarn Store Day. It's actually officially on September 12th, but we're going to be celebrating it from Thursday, September 10th to Sunday, September 13th. I'm encouraging everybody to check out our website because we're going to have exclusive offers from various yarn companies, free patterns with purchase. We're going to have prizes. So what I would encourage everyone to do is share the videos, comment on Twitter or post on Twitter, and please use the hashtag on Twitter, #LoveMyAKS. It's hashtag #LoveMyAKS. And I think we're going to have a great time. We're going to culminate Local Yarn Store Day with a fabulous sit and stitch on Sunday from 1 to 3. I do post the link an hour before each week, so you'll be able to get in there. And the link to that sit and stitch will also be in the description bar of the video. Let me see, is that everything? Oh, we have exclusive kits. Everything's going on. It'll be on the website. We also encourage you to make appointments, both virtual if you're far away, or if you're local. We also have in-store, well, a limited number of in-store appointments available. And the link to our appointments will be in the description bar. Anyway, I think that's it for this week. Have a great week, everybody. See you next time.